We are now officially on the road to the Tony Awards. Let's get started. I'm Tamsen Fidel. The big show coming up June 8th. But until then, we've got you covered with Broadway's biggest shows and stars. Let's send it out to Paul Wontorek.
Well, welcome to the Tony Junket, Bob. That means you're a nominee. You got a pin on.
Unbelievable.
Yeah?
Unreal.
What were the emotions when you found this out?
I mean, I couldn't, I can't fathom it. Gobsmacked is the word. Of course, I wish that the other cast members were also nominated because it is a group effort. Bill Burr is so amazing. I really feel Kieran is a revelation in his version of Ricky Roma. And Michael McKean gets more laughs than anybody in the whole group. It's just a great cast.
Yeah, it is.
So I wish every single one of them was with me.
But they're all still talking to you, right?
They're still mocking me. Does that count?
I can't even imagine how you move on from this. It's been such a big part of your life.
To be honest with you, I can't imagine either. This has been the greatest unexpected dream role of my life, like you said. I mean, where do you go from here? Even Glenn Close said this is arguably one of the greatest roles ever written for a woman.
Right.
I've got to share all of me,
Right.
even more than what people probably bargained for in this role. So where do I go from here?
So Tony Night
Yeah.
is going to be a big pinnacle moment for all of this. Are you psyched to get to do this on TV? I'm assuming you're going to sing.
I would love to sing. I believe I'm singing, and that will be a dream come true for me because singing is the best way I know how to communicate and the best way I know how to give all of my love, and I have so much to give, so I would love to be able to have that opportunity to do that on stage.
This is such a delicious leading lady role.
Thank you. I know. I'm so lucky to get to do it.
So how's the actual rhythm of being in a Broadway smash again? And one that you helped create, which is nice.
Isn't that something? I do feel like I'm so proud. I'm so proud to be a part of something, that we've built from the ground up, you know? It is a lot. It's a lot. This is the most work I've ever done in my life or will ever do in my life. This is so much. The maintenance and the upkeep, trying to keep my voice in a good place and my body still in one piece, and keep my family
And be a
all
mom.
happy. There's a lot of moving parts, but it's all amazing. I would have it no other way.
I interviewed you when you were in rehearsals for the show, and the energy then was kind of like, this is a great show. I really hope people get it, right?
Yes,
and
exactly.
then it's amazing to see what happened, which is and it's such a beautiful reminder that if you make something really great, put your heart in it, the audience will feel that, and the audience will actually.
Yes, it is nice because it makes me go, okay, my human heart and mind is moved by this thing. So when people who aren't me, who aren't in our small circle, people I've never met, also feel that way, I'm now connected to them. I can go, oh, you too are a human being with a heart and mind that can be moved by this. Wow, what a beautiful thing. I mean, that's what art should be at its best at all times. And so to get to be part of something that does that in spades is just one of the greatest gifts that has ever been given to me.
You've been through many journeys with different roles. I've talked to you about many of them over the years. What is special about this last year?
Taking on this iconic role and being able to be the first Black woman to play the role on Broadway, and therefore introducing this show to kind of a new generation and a specific type of generation that might not necessarily come to Gypsy. And so that has been very special about this particular nomination. And I think also just for me, it's a reminder that this is the only thing I've ever wanted to do. There's a part of me that's talking to little Audra right now saying, see, you were a weird, quirky, over-dramatic child who wanted to be in theater, and that's what you did, and you're still doing it.
The energy, it's so unique, actually, to see and the female energy and the young female energy, and it's really beautiful when you see a show that really is connecting with people in a special way.
Totally, and I think Kimberly does such a good job of just really meeting my generation, Gen Z, at where they're at, and not making them too mature, unrealistic, or dumbing them down in a way. It just feels really authentic. They all feel like girls
Yeah.
And the performances by our amazing cast helps with that too.
It just feels like this was all meant to happen, right?
Yeah, it does. I think Shelby's definitely I don't know, she's so complex. I don't know, she's just a really delicious character, and it's been amazing to kind of develop her and like continue to get to know her over performances. But I think she is someone that like, yeah, hopefully people come see and understand her, and that's felt really good. People have really been moved by it.
13 years ago, you were nominated
Yeah.
for Newsies. What is different about Jeremy Jordan now? I mean, what would you tell that kid? I mean, that kid was like shot out of a cannon. I remember.
I'd say chill the hell out, bro.
Chill out.
No, he was very happy, but I don't know. I mean, I would say like just keep going. Like you'll have ups and downs, and you'll be back.
Well, you're incredibly popular. I mean, you're so talented, and I love to see you bite your teeth into all these roles. And this
Thanks.
one is really fascinating.
Yeah.
I mean, how you doing? How's life in the cave?
It's hard, but it's very gratifying, you know. At the end of the day, it's definitely. I will say like this is like the hardest role I've ever done.
Wow.
Just like physically, maybe not quite physically, but mentally and vocally.
Yeah.
Like it just kicks my butt every day.
Yeah.
Doing that 8 shows a week, I'm essentially just dying over the course of an entire show on stage. And so like, it's hard to not let that kind of get under your skin a little bit sometimes.
You know, there's a thing called a role, and you're on it. I don't know if you feel it. I don't know if you feel it, but it just keeps going. I love it. This is your 4th nomination.
Yes, sir.
And it's 4 years in a row.
Yes.
And you won last year.
I did.
And you like just won a Lortel Award. I mean, you just like, yeah, it's incredible, and I love it, and I'm just cheering for it all. Who made you so level-headed? How did you become this person? I mean, you really just are just sort of, you're always so genuine. You're just in the moment. I mean, like, where'd that come from? Have you always been that way?
I don't know. I mean, I imagine a time where, probably not, I imagine there was one point where the world seemed so a lot, and it still feels that way. But like right now I'm thinking like, we're at such an interesting time in our history in its country, and art is so necessary. And I think that the fact that I get to do this every single day of my life is one of the greatest honors ever.
You did such beautiful work in A Wonderful World, and you were also a co-director and the star. It was quite a big lift.
Yeah.
I don't know if you were like thinking maybe the Tony Award.
You know what?
This is a big race
To be
this year.
perfectly honest, I wasn't thinking about the Tony Awards at all. I mean, of course, when you're in the show, you're kind of thinking about it, and then your show closes, and you go, okay. I was absolutely asleep. I did not watch the Tony nominations because I had already resigned myself. I was like, it's probably not going to happen. This is a very strong season. We're just going to, move on. This show actually helped me get to this point, was like, I am proud of what I did. And I'm proud on my own of what I did.
Yeah.
So we slept. So when my phone started buzzing, the first buzz, I was like, ignore it. Second buzz, ignore it. Third buzz, I'm like, this must be my mother, because my mother's the only one that calls that early in the morning. And I'm like, oh, what does she want? Not in a bad way. I love you, Mom. But I look up and it's Freestyle Love Supreme, our text thread, going, congratulations. I'm like, congratulations for what? And I look at my wife, like, babe, I think I got nominated for a Tony. But this wonderful nomination is really like sprinkles on an already great cake.
Are you actually having a blast doing this show?
Yeah, yes.
I mean, it's like full Jonathan Groff experience.
I was putting on this costume the other day at intermission, and I was like putting the pants on and the shirt, and I was like, I think this is the most fun I've ever had in my whole life.
Yeah.
It's like the show begins, and it feels like it's 5 minutes and it's over. I know that I'm exhausted because I slept for like 12 hours the other night, so I know it's like I'm doing a lot, but I love it so much. The show is about like doing what you can while you have the time. There's like not even a part of me that's like, okay, I'm doing another. I feel like even more energized. I guess that's like the gift, as you know, of being able to do what you love.
Yeah.
It's like, it becomes an infinite well of energy and inspiration, and I'm so grateful.
Dead Outlaw is alive on Broadway. It's the true story of a Wild West outlaw whose life got way more interesting after he died. I want to hear the backstory of this story because I think that there's much to tell and there's a lot of people don't know about this because it's based on a true story.
First step, you can just do a deep dive on the internet of Elmer McCurdy.
Yeah.
It's an amazing story. This guy who sort of had a troubled childhood in the late 1800s, and he tried a few times to live a good life, and he just couldn't get it right. And he falls in with a sort of gang of train robbers and is not very good at that either, and then eventually is shot and killed, and that's when his success story really takes off.
Let's go into his success part of his story.
So yeah, he ends up in this coroner's office, and he went by a lot of aliases when he was a train robber, and so no one came to claim his body until the woman that he was seeing in this small town, she came because she saw a name in the paper that she recognized and identified the body, but there was no family, so they couldn't legally release it. So the coroner ends up keeping the body because people start coming in and saying, oh no, no one died. I heard you have a train robber here. Can I see him? And so he starts charging people to see this body. And then, you know, over the years, the body sort of mummifies because the embalming they used and the way the climate was. And he ends up selling him to a couple guys who own a sideshow, the Patterson brothers. They were real people and really bought his body. And then the body sort of changed hands several times throughout his life.
Now you play him in, I guess, in a coffin?
That's
and
right.
how long? How long are you in that coffin?
That's probably 40, 45 minutes.
What do you do? How do you do it? How do you blink?
I do blink. You know, some nights are easier than others.
Yeah.
If I have dry eyes that day or things like that, that makes it a little harder. But I track like, okay, in 30 seconds, this actor's gonna walk in front of me, and so I can quickly blink and, you know, or I can swallow or take a bigger breath, things like that.
And looking straight ahead, just looking?
Yeah, looking straight ahead, and I sort of relax my eyes like, you know, those magic eye things where you used to have to make your eyes go lazy to see the picture that's there. I kind of do that a little bit.
Welcome back to the Broadway Show. I'm Tamsin Fidel, so let's get back to it. It's your last chance to see this incredible new production of Sunset Boulevard on Broadway, and if you've never seen anything like it, here's Beth Stevens with another edition of Building Broadway.
So Jamie, thank you for joining me here on 44th Street where Sunset Boulevard is playing.
Thanks for having me, it's great to be here.
And also where Tom Francis sings live 8 times a week.
In all weathers.
In all weather.
Rain, snow, any kind of weather. Throw anything at him and he'll still do it.
Tell me about making that decision to take the show outside and what it opened up for you.
You know, it was so funny because we didn't really plan this originally in the original rehearsal period in London. I remember I went into rehearsals with Tom and I said, look, how are we going to do this title song? And he said, well, it's such a great song, it's such an iconic number. I'll just kind of like, you know, I'll stand center stage and I'll sing it. And I said, okay, let's do it. Let's go for it. And as he was singing, this idea came to me that we would start off in his dressing room and kind of go all the way through the building. And then just at the point where you think he's gonna step on stage and sing the song, he then leaves the building. And it's just been a kind of like an adventure to kind of work out the route all the way along here and into Schubert Alley.
It's so unpredictable with Times Square and the tourists and the people walking by.
Yeah. I mean, it's like amazing, but that's like kind of a part of it that like whatever you experience, whoever sees it, what other characters might be there, might be around, might be a part of the story. It's kind of like, it's like Broadway, the streets of Broadway, the streets of New York, kind of like become like a kind of stand-in for the streets of Hollywood, the streets of LA. And I love that. You know, like when he comes to this picture, he stands at this and he sings, sure, I came out here to make my name. And of course, he's singing as Joe Gillis, but he's also singing as Tom Francis, coming to Broadway and becoming this kind of amazing kind of Broadway star that he's turned into. So it kind of works on many, many levels.
You know, I love in many of your productions that you remind us that we're watching a show. You let us see the seams. What does that open up for you in telling the story?
Well, it really comes from a kind of starting point that we saying that the starting point for all of our productions, not least Sunset Boulevard, is that there's a space and there's some people in it. So what we ask the actors to do is to find the characters within themselves and themselves within the characters. So it's not like they're kind of putting on something artificial. They're kind of finding kind of aspects of their own lives, their own experiences, and bringing those to the role. And hopefully that leads to like even more kind of like truthful, more honest performances.
And you are directing both for a live audience, because this is Broadway, and a live camera. So those are two different skills. Tell me about doing both of those.
Well, you know, it's the first time I've ever used cameras, and it just obviously made a lot of sense because, of course, Sunset Boulevard, you know, it obviously is based on Billy Wilder's iconic movie. So it came, you know, the language obviously is inherent, the cinematic language is inherent in the text. But of course, it's about movies and movie making and being on Hollywood. So it kind of made sense that that was a part of the language of the production. But what I love about it is that it's incredibly democratic because it's all about the kind of the language of the close-up. So wherever you're sat in the auditorium, even if you're in the balcony, you still have this very immediate connection with the actors, and you're seeing right into the whites of their eyes, and you're kind of really seeing into their minds and understanding what's happening on stage in a very, very kind of intimate way and very immediate way.
And unlike film, there's no take two.
There is no take two. Everything is live. Every single shot in this show is live. So we're kind of like on a knife edge every single night. Anything could go wrong at any time.
The Jimmy Awards is a huge and amazing event that happens in New York City every year, featuring the absolute best of the best musical theater talents from high schools all across America. Now, on the lead up to the Jimmys, the Broadway show shines a spotlight on the students and the cities and the impact these competitions and awards have on those amazing teens. This week's Road to the Jimmys takes us to Columbus, a city where creativity and community take center stage, and its rising stars are ready for the spotlight.
The Kappa Marquis Awards program are our year-long high school musical theater awards program which connect to the Jimmys. We have an amazing team here at the Ohio Theater of IATSE members who care about educating the next generation of theater technicians, and they are so gracious to allow our students each year to not only perform on stage for our showcase, but also we allow each school in the program to nominate one student to work backstage alongside our IATSE crew members. To be a part of something that you're working as a group to build and produce, I think many of those skills will transfer to their next sort of step in their lives, no matter what they choose to pursue.
The Jimmy Awards give these students a chance to live out their dream of performing on a Broadway stage at Broadway's Minskoff Theater, home of The Lion King. Smashed is a Broadway smash.
If you say something is taboo, well, that's the thing I wanna do. Do it till I'm black and blue. Let's be bad.
Of course, it's based on the cult favorite TV series, and it's pretty awesome. Here's Perry Sook.
Thanks, Tamsin. Smash recently received a Tony nomination for its show-stopping choreography. I'm here at the Imperial Theater to learn more about keeping these triple threats in motion. All right, we are here in the mezzanine with the associate choreographer of Smash, Jenny LaRoche. Jenny, thank you so much for taking the time right before lift call. It's a very busy time for you.
It is a very busy time, and thank you so much for having me, Perry.
So I just got to ask, you're a member of the show, the original NBC show Smash, and now associate choreographer on a Tony-nominated show for its choreography. Just what has this process been like for you?
It's been awesome. It's been full circle. It's been really cool that, like, to come from the series, like you said, and be a part of it with Josh and like build the numbers, and then to now recreate those numbers and build them for my peers and put them on that stage is just really awesome.
A 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's be bad. And if I drown, if I touch in, notify my next of kin. They may grieve on my jumping. Let's be bad.
So now we've got, the lift call coming up. Are you overseeing that now on a day-to-day basis before the show?
I am overseeing lift call, yes. So every day for every show, there's a lift call. It's always great when you're partnering so heavily like we do in the show to connect with your partners before half hour. So before you do the show, you just touch on the lifts. So I oversee that, make sure everyone feels good, everything is safe. Every night I note the show. I maintain the show and I make sure that the audience is seeing that same show that we created on opening night, which is great. Our cast is so awesome. I barely have to note anything. So it's really just maintaining. And yeah, lift call is really just for them to make sure everyone feels good and feels safe. And if there's ever something that has shifted, or hey, this lift was a little wonky, can we take a look at this? Or oh, I'm feeling a little sore here, can we like lighten up on this? We're always tweaking, live theater. So yeah.
Sure. In a show like this, is the entire cast at lift call? I mean, you literally have a woman walking across the hands of people holding her up. That's got to be a giant lift call.
It is a giant lift call. This is the biggest lift call I have done in my career. It takes us about 15 minutes. Not the full company is involved in lift call, but I would say like 75%.
It really is fantastic, and the fun and the energy really comes through on the stage. I do got to ask though, with the meta-ness, no spoilers, but talking about a show where quite possibly an associate director / choreographer steps into a major part. Are you ready? If the time is called.
I'm ready.
Hi everybody, this is Kristen Chenoweth, and you are watching TheBroadway.com show.
Broadway.com is celebrating its 25th anniversary this year. For over 2 decades, the site has spotlighted the brightest stage stars, as well as numerous members of the theater community behind the scenes, who keep audiences cheering 8 times a week. From backstage vlogs to A-list interviews to in-studio performances. Enjoy this look back at Broadway.com over the years.
Mandy.
Bullshit! Don't make me do it, don't make me go through it. Can somebody get me a drink?
Rise! Happy anniversary, Steve! Rise, we love you, Steve! Mother Abbess Goes Wild? I don't know.
We won. This award is the best.
This
favorite
on-stage pair.
I can't do it. Okay, no, I'm gonna do it. Hi.
And that's going to do it for us. But for tickets, or if you want to see extended cuts of all these interviews, you can head over to Broadway.com. And be sure to check out The Broadway Show Uncut, wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Tamsen Fidel, and this is The Broadway Show.